Hi, I'm Don from DonDronesOn. Let's check out this drone from HolyStone. It's HS165. It's less than 250 grams, has GPS and return to home, and a 2K video camera. Pretty cool. The HolyStone company asked me to review the HS165 drone for them and provided me this unit for free. That said, I'll give you my frank opinion of the little guy and show you the basics of how to fly it. And between all the rain and wind we've been having, I managed to get a short flight in as well. All right, so here's what comes in the box. This really nicely designed case that holds everything that you need right inside there. Nice little case. The drone itself, which folds up nicely, compact. 2 LiPo batteries go into the drone. Special recharging cable. The remote control, which is also rechargeable. It has a rechargeable battery and a cable that came with it. And a bunch of props, spare props and screws to hold them on in case you break them. And a screwdriver to help out with that. The only other thing that you'll need is a smartphone to run the app if you want to watch your video while you're flying. And you do that by putting your phone in there. Okay. And you'll also need an SD card. Now, strangely enough, in the instructions, they refer to the micro SD card as a TF card. So I guess TF is short for WTF, but a regular micro SD card works just fine. The maximum size it supports is 32 gig. The drone itself is 171 grams, which means in most countries you don't need to register it, and in Canada at least, it means you don't need a drone pilot certificate at all. Just fly it safely, stay well away from anywhere aircraft or helicopters might be, and keep clear of people as well. The build quality is remarkably solid, much more solid feeling than a DJI Mini 2. I didn't try crashing it, but the plastic seems pretty heavy duty, including the props, like they're pretty solid. One strange thing is that the motors are connected to the propeller shaft with a little gear reduction system. I'm not sure if the camera will focus on that or not, but there's a little gear system in there. I've never seen that on a drone. I thought it would actually make the drone noisy, but it doesn't. It seems to be pretty reasonable the way it is. There are no obstacle sensors on this, so you really have to watch where you're going. It will not prevent itself from crashing right into a tree or into the ground or anything else, so watch what you're doing. On the bottom, this little nub here is the power button. Push and hold, and it will power up like that. We'll take it for a spin in a minute, and I'll walk you through the whole power up sequence. You push it again to turn it off. Now, by the way, there's lights on the bottom of each of the arms, and how they are lit and how they're flashing tells you various conditions of the drone. Now, I'm not going to go through all the states right now. Just remember, if something is flashing, that's not a good thing. That means you need to do something or finish doing something or let it acquire GPS satellites, that kind of stuff. Only fly the drone when all the lights on the drone are solidly lit. Let's talk about the camera on this drone. It's a 2K high definition video camera. You can also take still pictures with it. The problem is that it's fixed in place and it's facing downwards. So fixed in place isn't a problem. A lot of FPV drones have that on their cameras. You will not get nice stable video if you're doing, say, cinematic drone shots. This is not the drone for you because every little jitter that the drone makes as it compensates for wind and everything else will be captured on your video. If you want nice stable shots, you need to spend a lot more money and get a gimbal stabilized camera. The other thing is that because it's facing downwards, I'm not sure if you can really catch how far down it's pointing, and the drone when it's going forwards is tilted down. If you're close to the ground, that's all you see is the ground. You have to be pretty high up to see really where you're flying, which makes it pretty tough to fly if you're watching the camera itself. If you're watching the drone, no problem, because it doesn't really matter. You get some cool shots with the video, and the video transmission to the phone is extremely good. Very nice capture, very clear video that you can see on your phone while you're flying. The videos record on a micro SD card that fits into this little slot in the back. Whoops. Gotta have the contacts upwards to put it in there. Usually takes me 3 tries to get a SD card in. And the batteries themselves, which are LiPo batteries, lithium polyamide, go in the back as well. All right, and they just fit in there very nicely and firmly. Now, speaking of the batteries, they take about 2 hours to charge, and they give you about 15, maybe 20 minutes of flying time. They do come with a special charging adapter that just clips in there and then can go into any USB port that has power on it. There's lights on it, and it tells you what the deal is with the lights in the instructions. Okay, let's have a look at the remote control. This little device is for holding your phone. Your phone is not physically or electronically connected to the remote. Your phone actually connects between the phone and the drone connects to the remote control. So they're kind of independent. Standard design, plastic. Honestly, it's a little cheap feeling, but it does the job. It's not really a problem. So 2 joysticks, standard configuration. The left joystick up and down controls going upwards and downwards, and left and right controls your yaw, which means the tilt of the drone or the direction the drone is facing. Your right joystick is for pitch and roll, so forward and backwards makes the drone go forward and backwards horizontally. Left and right is moving horizontally left and right. Let's have a look at the buttons on here. Power button here, you push and hold that to activate it. When the little light above it is flashing, that means that it is trying to pair with your drone. Remember I said any flashing lights mean not good? This means that the drone is not turned on because it's flashing. I'm just going to turn that off. We'll go, as I said, I'll go through the startup sequence so you can see how this works. Let's see. Down here is the trim button. If you're flying this drone indoors, and I wouldn't strongly recommend that because it doesn't have any prop guards, my general recommendation is learn to fly your drone outdoors first in a nice open field, and then if you're good at it and you want to fly it inside, you can do that. The trim button allows you to adjust the drone's motors when it's not connected to GPS, so it doesn't drift. The next button down here is the 1-button takeoff and land. So if you, after starting the props up, you push that, it'll rise up to 5 feet automatically, or about 5 feet, something like that. By the way, I like the way the buttons are all nicely labeled. Very easy to see. Over on this side, there's a GPS button that allows you to turn off the GPS. By default, it is turned on. You would only turn it off if you were flying inside. The next button is the automatic return to home button. You push that if you are wanting the drone to return to the landing place and land all by itself. It'll rise to an altitude that you set on the app and then come back and land. This last button is a little strange. The symbol on there looks like a little compass. Is the headless mode button. 1 click turns it on, 1 click turns it off. Headless mode is a little hard to describe. Normally your drone is flying based on your joysticks. It's always relative to the direction that your drone is pointing. So if it's pointing, say, to the right like that, and you push the forward button, it goes forward. When you're in headless mode, it doesn't matter which direction your drone is pointing. It flies relative to, or the controls work relative to the position it was in when you turned headless mode on, which is normally when you launch the drone. So if you are sideways and you push forward, it will go forward away from you, away from the position it was when it was first launched. Okay? It's handy sometimes when you can't see your drone very well and you can't tell which direction it's pointing. All right, let's see what else is on the control. On the front, down here, there's the charge port right there. There's a button here that changes the speed. It's two speeds, low and medium. And over here are the camera controls. One button, short press takes a picture, a still picture. Long press turns on the video camera and starts recording. And another long press turns that off. All right. Now on the app on your phone, you'll see all sorts of other advanced features and things like that. Things like the take a picture while you're rotating around an object, the follow me mode, and a few other advanced features like that. And you can set parameters on there for doing those advanced capabilities. All right, I think that's about it. Let's go and see how you set this drone up and launch it. One thing I didn't mention is the instruction manual that comes with the drone. It's quite good. It's in multiple languages and good diagrams and little barcode there that you can scan to get the app downloaded. It's good. It's very clear, very simple, nice instruction manual. Good thing to have. All right, so let's go through the steps required to get our drone flying. Step one, take your drone, fold out the arms, make sure they're good and locked in place. Always a good idea at this point to check every one of your propeller blades for any nicks or cracks or anything like that. These are the things that are keeping your drone in the air. So make sure they are perfect and in perfect condition. Little scuffs, I've got a couple of scuffs on that one, are probably okay. There's no crack or anything like that. All right, freshly charged battery. Insert firmly. Oh, before we do that, always check your battery for swelling. LiPo batteries, if they are left charged, fully charged, can swell, and that's very dangerous. They contain dangerous chemicals, and they could potentially catch on fire. So always check for swelling, dispose of them if they do swell or any crack or leakage or anything like that. Take them to the appropriate place within your municipality to dispose of batteries. All right, this one's perfect, fully charged, pressed in place fully. Turn the drone over. The on-off switch is this little button here. Push and hold. The LEDs will light up. There we go. They're flashing like that because we're not yet connected to our controller. So push the controller, on button, the light goes solid. The flashing on the LEDs has stopped. You'll notice now, I'm not sure if you can tell, that the LEDs are now alternating between the front and the back, flashing on and off. That means that it's looking for a GPS signal. All good. So that could take a couple of minutes to find. So we'll proceed with the rest of the steps at this point. So our controller is connected to the drone. Next, we want to connect our phone to the drone. So I've started the app, but the other thing you have to do is connect to the drone with Wi-Fi. So you open up your Wi-Fi doohickey and wait until it sees the drone. There it is, HolyStone FPV. We touch that and it will eventually give us a warning that says, hey, there's no internet on this Wi-Fi signal. There it is, and we can dismiss that. All right, so we'll launch the app by hitting the fly button. Get some tips, which we don't want to do right now. And you know that you're connected to your drone when the camera view is showing on your screen. Okay, so that's good. So now, whoops. I think I just took a picture. I'm always hitting those buttons on the front. So we unfold the little clamp to hold your phone and go like that. All right, oh, I've lost the app now. There we go. All right, so the next thing to do is to calibrate the compass and calibrate the gyros. So calibrating the compass is crucial anytime that you move the drone, 50 kilometers or something like that, because the magnetic variations in the Earth's magnetic field vary quite a bit, and if your compass is messed up, your drone will not fly right. So compass calibration, very simple. 2 joysticks, up and in. like that. It will beep and then give us some instructions on how to proceed. Step 1 is to take your drone and rotate it in place horizontally. Might take a couple of times. There it goes, beeps. Now you turn it camera up and rotate it again in place, but rotating it this time in the vertical orientation. When it beeps again, it will be done. There we go. Now we'll put it down and it will continue to search for its GPS satellites while we continue. Sorry about the wind, by the way. It's never-ending wind. When it's not wind, it's rain. We're having terrible weather. All right, gyros. This time you take the joysticks and you go down and both of them to the left. Beeps like that and flashes for a little bit and then continues to look for its GPS signal. So the GPS signal will turn green up here. I think it's green or might be blue when it has a GPS lock. You can see it says non-GPS mode lock. We're just going to wait for that to acquire its satellites and then we'll be good to go. So we have GPS lock and we're going to take off. Pull both the joysticks into the down and in, starts the propellers, and within a few seconds, launch. And there we go. I probably should have recorded this whole thing, but oh well, here we go. Here's a quick recap. You may recall it took a while for the drone to acquire a GPS lock. Well, shortly after taking off, I'm going to guess that it lost its GPS connection to the satellites, and that made it very difficult to fly. I'm going to say it's because of all the trees where I am here, because I had no problem whatsoever with GPS lock in an open field yesterday. So anyway, lost the GPS lock, it started to blow away, went right out over the lake. So I managed to bring it in, fortunately, but it was really struggling against the wind. It's a pretty brisk, strong wind, and it's kind of whistling here between the trees. So I brought it in, but couldn't control it very well, and it crashed into a tree and got stuck up there. Managed to get it down with a long pole, and none the worse for wear. So, word to the wise, if you're having troubles getting a GPS lock, you're probably going to lose it as well. So, don't fly if you can't get a GPS lock. You're going to lose your drone for sure. Okay, on with the video. So here's my flight yesterday. I was flying in a wide open soccer field. GPS lock instantly, didn't lose GPS ever. So totally different experience in that regard. The wind was probably twice as bad that day. So why don't we listen in as I'm flying? Up on the throttle. Okay, so it's struggling in this wind. It's a pretty strong wind. I'm going to say probably 20 kilometers per hour, but you can see it's actually remarkably stable. Going to bring it down a bit. Now I'm going to start the video recording so you can see what that's like. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to make a slow circle here. There's a strong wind. It's usually better to stay closer to the ground, a couple of meters off the ground maybe, no more than that. And so let's do the full length of this soccer field here. See if I can score a goal. Now, the one disadvantage of the camera being pointing down is that you can't see too well in front of you. Tells me the distance on the display, about 54 meters right now. There's the other end of the soccer field. You can see how it tilts when you move the drone. It's really struggling in this wind. There we go. Trying to make a slow circle around the net. And then we'll come back. We'll try high speed mode. Here's high speed mode. Oh wow. I like it in faster mode, much better. It's actually a lot more fun this way. Like it's much more responsive. Well, there we have it. The HolyStone HS165 FPV drone. Easy to fly because of its GPS connection, but not a great camera, particularly because of its angle, the way it's pointing downwards, and you can't change that. But for just flying around, it works fine. It's a lot of fun and certainly easy on the wallet. There's a discount code for 10% off in the description below. I hope you've enjoyed this video and the review. Safe and happy flying. Thanks for watching.